Technical difficulties. So my name is Kerry Dupree. I will be live with you today at the Waterhole. I hope you can all hear me loud and clear. We have started off the show today over in Hoedspruit at the Endangered Species Center with our cheetah, female cheetah, Tammy. She has her little 4 cubs with her, suckling away. What a lovely way to start the show today. It's crazy how quickly these little cubs have started changing in color. Yesterday and the day before, they were literally just these little balls of fluff. Now you can already see their spots and colors. They look a lot darker already. Glad to see all of the cubs are suckling. So these cubs of Tammy's were born 2 days ago. Quite interesting that 2 cubs were born quite early in the morning. And then 1 cub was born about 9 hours later, which we actually watched live. So very, very precious. So these little cheetah cubs are looking at about 3 days old today. So just a reminder, this is a live and interactive experience. You can watch us on our app, and if you're watching on the website, you can register to ask any questions or let us know if there's any specific locations you'd like to check out today. You can also use the QR code on screen, and a new feature, you can also send through your questions and comments on WhatsApp as well. Besides enjoying watching our new little cheetah family in Hoedspruit, I would love to check out Stony Point, see if we can see those tiny little penguin chicks that are on Stony Point. We did try yesterday, but the parent was being very protective and secretive of the little newly hatched penguin chicks. So we'll check out Stony Point, and I'd also like to see what other birds we can get today. So joining us on our MC team, we have Chulu, and then Mika will join us later. We also have on the tech side, we have Simba today. That is in our MC team here in Johannesburg. So we have some comments coming through. Julian Thomas, yes, it will be lovely to spend as much time as we can with these very cute little cheetah cubs. Yeah, we've been following this family quite closely since they were born 3 days ago. Today is actually their third day in a bright new little world. And yesterday we were slightly concerned because 2 of the cubs were separated from the female. She was not feeding them for very long periods at a time, and they're kind of just on their own, whimpering and calling for their mother. So it's very nice to see that the family has been reunited. All of the cubs are lying very comfortably with their mother and suckling very well, as you can see here. Seems to be bothered by some flies, that's why the tail is swishing from time to time. A few flies around. That's why they have a perfect adaptation of their tails to help chase away any insects and flies. So Rhino 1, this female cheetah with her cubs is in a center. She's in the Hoedspruit Endangered Species Center. Her name is Tammy. I believe they have 2 cheetah at the Hoedspruit Endangered Species Center, Tammy and Becky, as well as a couple of white rhinos and a few injured endangered birds as well. So yeah, in Africa, in wildlife areas, you do have these centers, which are rehab and rehabilitation centers, which do take in injured animals, birds, all kinds of creatures, and might rehab them for a period of time until they're ready to be released into the wild. I recently visited the research center and rehab station for wild dogs in Wangi National Park. Again, they only have 2 wild dog, one wild dog that's permanently at the center. Unfortunately, it was an individual that was attacked by lions, so he sustained some injuries to one of his legs, so he has a bit of a broken leg that hasn't healed too well, and he also got his skull semi-crushed, so he's got a bit of brain damage there. So his name is Lucky, and he is the ambassador for wild dogs in Zimbabwe, or in Wangi National Park. So unfortunately he's not able to live in the wild, but he's a very good companion for the other dogs that come through the center. So from time to time, human-wildlife conflict can be a big issue for these predators like cheetah, lions, even wild dog, or cars. They often get hit by vehicles, and these centers like the Hoedspruit Endangered Species Center are places where they'll take in these injured or wounded animals, take care of them for a period of time until they're up on their feet and ready to get back into the wild. So we've been watching this family of cheetah very closely the last couple of days. And it'll be really awesome to see how these little cheetah cubs grow up. So the average size of a litter of cheetah cubs is generally anything between 3 to 6 individuals. In a zoo in America, there was once a record of a female cheetah that gave birth to 8 cubs, but generally in the wild, female cheetah will normally give birth to anything between 3 to 5 individuals. But if 2 or 3 of them survive, that's normally quite lucky. Oh, check out this little baby cheetah's head. I love the little paws. You can already see those claws of theirs. So cheetah, quite well adapted. They have what's known as protractile claws. So you get retractile claws, which lions and leopards have retractile claws, and these are claws that do kind of at rest go back into the actual paw itself, whereas cheetah have protractile claws, so the claws are constantly out at all times, and that's what helps them when running. It almost acts like artificial spikes, or these spikes that help to center them into the ground when running up and down. So
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Step away from your daily stress and escape into nature with Wild Earth. Immerse yourself in the wilderness and become part of the natural landscape. Watch as everything comes alive. Join us as we slow down our thoughts, put aside our distractions, and reconnect with the wild.
If you love watching Wild Earth, here's a little tip. Become a member. You can gain access to the channel ad-free, you can rewind and re-watch sightings, and you can join our Tuesday live safaris. There's also behind the scenes videos, fireside chats, and every Safari Live episode, whenever you want it. It's just a better way to stay connected to nature.
A little bit concerned that the cheetah cubs, she's having a bit of a stretch there, look, she's stretching that back leg. So the cheetah cubs were quite far apart from each other. Two were close to her and another two were in a bit of a grassy green thicket patch, and yeah, we were a little bit concerned that she was not taking great care of them, but she seems to have reunited the family. So she went to pick them up by the scruff of their neck. So they got little baby cheetahs, have a very fluffy patch of fur just on the scruff of their neck there. That's where the mother would have picked them up and moved them closer to her. So yeah, these cheetah don't have much of a busy schedule for their day, I must say. They'll spend most of their time suckling and sleeping, building up their energy. And were very shaky and very wobbly in their first few days, and it was a very huge privilege that we actually watched the last baby cheetah being born while live at the waterhole. How crazy is that? So seeing as these cheetah like open grassland as their main habitat, cheetah don't necessarily form permanent dens. So unlike hyena and some other small predators like jackal, cheetah don't form these dens. They will hide their cubs in very thick grass or thickets, and to protect their cubs they'll normally move their cubs every 2 to 3 days in order to keep away from any of the big predators. Watch, you can see this female cheetah's belly rise and fall as she's breathing, and yeah, just very, very cool to watch these tiny baby cheetah. The gestation period of a female cheetah is about 90 to 95 days. We've been speaking a lot about predators lately and how predators have a much shorter gestation period than antelope species, and this is because that extra weight of being pregnant does hinder a predator's ability to hunt. So like this female cheetah, for example, the longer she is pregnant, the more chances she has of having extra weight on her that's going to deter her from hunting. So predators will have a shorter gestation period than that of their prey, And generally predators will give birth normally in the middle of the green season, middle to end of the green season, and this helps them to be able to have enough food. So green season is the time of many, so it's a very fruitful time for predators, lots of baby antelope around that they can snack on. So that's generally when a lot of your predators will give birth, is because it's an easy time to find food. So yeah, 90 to 95 days is the gestation period of this female of cheetah. And as we mentioned, generally anything between 3 to 5 on average little baby cubs are born, but cheetah do have a very low success rate. So yeah, the chance of 2 or 3 of those individuals surviving, because there's a lot of predators out there that would love to snack on a little baby cheetah, unfortunately. And it's quite cool, these baby cheetah at birth weigh about 250 to 300 grams. So it's like a little 250 gram block of butter. Imagine how tiny that little cheetah is when it's born. Alrighty folks, well it's been lovely starting off with Tammy the cheetah today. Why don't we head across to Tower Lodge and see what other birds we can find today. Alright folks, so welcome to one of our other locations here with the Africam cameras. So we are over at Tower Lodge in a mud decoy. It's kind of getting to the end of the rainy season now. I think most of our locations, I mean I know we just had rain in Johannesburg last night, but it's quite strange, and otherwise most of our locations last few rainfall before the dry season, before the winter starts. Still looking very lush and green here at Tower. What a lovely setting we have. I've been keeping a very sharp eye out for our crocodiles. Oh, looks like we've got, oh, is that an African fish eagle? No, grey herons. Looks like we've got a little grey heron friend here at the water's edge. Must be a bit of a windy afternoon. Have a look how he is tucking his head away in his feathers to keep his face warm. Yeah, quite a windy day. I'm sure this grey heron has had a very good feeding session this morning, already done with his feeding. Maybe he's already had a very good breakfast or a very good catch of the day. Now he's just resting up on the edge of the water here. So these grey herons will feed on mostly fish, even small tadpoles and frogs from time to time. It's quite funny when you see these grey herons catch a frog that is way too big for them. Yeah, can be quite a battle to get a big frog down their throat. This heron, I'm trying to have a look see. It looks like he's got a bit of breeding plumage, so very fluffy feathers on his belly there. Probably the breeding season for the herons is about to arrive. He's getting all dolled up, ready to attract a female. Don't know how much he's going to have, how much luck he's going to have at this pan, because we normally only see one grey heron here. I've been seeing some white-faced whistling ducks on these reeds the last couple of days, so always keep a lookout for those white-faced whistling ducks. And in the dry season, this is often a spot where the baboons, the waterbuck come down and actually graze on these very reeded grassy islands. These reeds are perfect, lily pads. We've got some lily pads here. Perfect habitat for some African jacanas, black crakes, common moorhens to be trotting on the top of these lilies looking for a snack as well. Maybe some little insects or larvae, tadpoles. Oh, got some Egyptian geese. Oh, no. Are these our white-faced whistling ducks? Yes. They're very cute birds, I must say. I do love a white-faced whistling duck. How many are here? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's probably about 6 of them. Very iconic sound that they make. I'm going to play the call of the white-faced whistling duck. What a lovely call. Always reminds me of the Zambezi River. Lots of white-faced whistling ducks along the Zambezi River. They are quite a striking duck with that black and white head, rufous belly, and those barred flanks. So they do look very similar to the fulvous duck, which actually, I think a lot of my time in the bush I've confused the two duck species. Ooh, got a common moorhen there as well. Just saw this bright red bill in the reeds. So we're doing pretty well on our birds already. We've got a grey heron, white-faced whistling duck, common moorhen, 3 very cool birds. So both of these bird species, the white-faced whistling duck and common moorhens, can be found in freshwater marshy lake areas. The white-faced whistling ducks are normally found in flocks. Sometimes the numbers of these flocks can be in the hundreds, and common moorhens are normally just found solitary or in pairs. So interesting how your different bird species have different social makeup groups. The more you learn about birds, the more you learn about their very interesting social dynamics and how their social structure works from one bird species to the next. Jive bunny, yes, those white-faced whistling ducks are very pretty ducks, I must say.
Join me, Andrew Wistenholm, for an indescribable 6-night stay in the beautiful Albany of the Eastern Cape at Amakhala Game Reserve. Now, this trip is going to be action-packed with a lot of storytelling, adventure, as well as the opportunity to make everlasting memories. We'll be exploring the best of Amakhala by staying at 2 luxury lodges, which will be the perfect blend of comfort as well as wilderness. Book your spot today and let's get ready to explore the wild beauty of Amakhala.
Join the Wild Earth YouTube superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube superfan community today.
Out here, every wild moment counts, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you will not miss out. Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7, and you can even rewind if you have missed out on something. Enjoy the behind-the-scenes video clips as well as fireside chat, or get the early offers on our travel experiences. It's the best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
So it's quite interesting. It's not a bird that you hear calling very often, this common moorhen. The call does sound very similar to the call of the Egyptian goose. Not Egyptian goose. What does it sound like? It sounds almost like a hummerkop call, actually. How cool. So Lindsay is asking, what bird I would like to see that I have not yet seen. So Lindsay, there's many of the birds of paradise that I would really love to go to Brazil and go and see some of these birds of paradise in the Amazon. But in other bird that you can get in southern Africa that I would love to see is the shoe-billed stork. That would be a pretty cool bird to see. But I've been recently seeing some pictures of some birds in India, and they have some very beautiful birds in India as well. So yeah, it's another bird I would really like to see, is the shoe-billed stork. So if any of our viewers have some birds that are on the top of your list, I'd love to see what birds our viewers are dying to see, or what is the next bird you would like to see on your next safari. So please send through those comments. Maybe I'll learn a thing or two from some of our viewers, and maybe I'll find some new birds to add to my life list of birds that I would still like to see as well. So I'm going to say mine is shoe-billed stork, and then of course I would love to get to the Amazon to see some of those birds of paradise. So the bird we just had just now, that was a blacksmith lapwing. The blacksmith lapwing, very cool bird, black and white, and it gets its name from this call. It almost sounds like a blacksmith tinkering away with his little hammer. Looking in these reeds, is there maybe a crocodile in here? Oh, no. We have an African jacana. Shucks, our birds have been on point today. We've got some really cool birds. It's been a while since we've seen the African jacana, and even the moorhen. I haven't seen any moorhens around for quite a while. So lovely to see this African jacana being very sneaky in the reeds here. Very sneaky birds. So Damien has sent through a question. Damien is asking which species predate on these birds. So all of these birds that we're seeing now have to be very careful of your bigger eagles. For example, the African fish eagle. So African fish eagle will be a prominent predatory bird in an environment like this that all of these birds have to be careful of. I mean, I've seen videos of African fish eagle taking down Egyptian geese. I've also seen an African fish eagle, this is again on photos, with a poor little African jacana in its talons. So yeah, fish eagles don't just feed on fish, but they will also feed on small aquatic birds as well. I've actually had a guest who got a photo of an African fish eagle that caught a cormorant that had a fish in its little webbed feet. So yeah, I guess that fish eagle really struck lucky on that day. He managed to catch his starter and main course all in one swoop. How cool. We don't really see African fish eagles here often, but it is quite a cool predatory bird. They take a long time to develop their adult colors, between 4 to 5 years for a fish eagle to become a majestic, fully grown adult and have its full adult plumage. So it's quite some time to fully mature. A lot of these big birds of prey, as well as storks, do take quite a long time to develop their full adult colors and to sexually mature. And this is one of the reasons why birds like the southern ground hornbill are also endangered, is because they take a very long time to sexually mature and have their first clutch of eggs. Looks like we've got some juvenile white-faced whistling ducks just off the left side there. They also haven't developed their full adult colors. Oh, here's our little moorhen. It's quite a intent bird. He's definitely on a mission. So another bird that looks very similar to the common moorhen is a gallinule. So gallinule is a bird I have only seen a couple of times. So yeah. So you can find these moorhens as well as gallinules in wetlands, grassy areas and seasonally flooded areas. They're quite shy birds, so they do retreat into the thick vegetation quite quickly. And they can be very easily identified by the bright color of their bill and their legs as well. Check out those bright yellow legs. So I've got a comment coming through here where I sent out a question. If anyone has any bird lifers that you are dying to see, please send them through. Maybe I can add a few new birds to my list. And Tinas sent through his comment about the next bird he would like to see is a liver bird. So I'm trying to have a look what a liver bird is, but I'm not seeing too much information. Apparently it is a cormorant looking bird. Yeah, I'm not seeing too much information. It's a mythical creature. Apparently, yeah, it's a part of the crest of Liverpool. So it's a symbol of English city of Liverpool. I don't know much about this liver bird, Tina. So if you have any information on where to find the liver bird, I would love to find out. But yeah, to me, it looks very similar to a cormorant. I can't see any actual pictures, but yeah, that would be a pretty cool bird to find, a liver bird. What else? What other birds do we have here? Sitting at the watering hole, it's always a good idea to have your binoculars with you and a bird book very close by. And yeah, sometimes there's not too much animal activity, but then that's a perfect time to enjoy some birding. Alright folks, let's head over to Stony Point and see what we can find at Stony Point. So we have our little penguin here. They're still sitting on the nest. We're hoping that we might get a glimpse of one of those little chicks. And yeah, yesterday we also came over to this location hoping to have a bit of a view of these chicks, but not much activity is happening. You can see there's a lot of flies around. All this excrement of the penguins is probably attracting a lot of flies. And yesterday we did see a little portion of what looked like it could have been a leftover shell of one of the chicks. So we got a question from Blessed. So Blessed asked, which country has the most elephants globally? And apparently Botswana is one of the countries which holds the largest population of elephants in the world. Recent estimations from last year, so 2024, estimate that the country could host approximately 130 to 132,000 elephants. So it is quite a significant population. It is concentrated in the north, but of course these elephants do move from Zambia, from Zimbabwe, like Wangi National Park, and they do migrate and move through into Botswana. So there's a lot of trans-frontier parks that Botswana is linked to, which these animals can come through. So it might be around 130,000 elephants, but maybe not at one time. They are kind of migratory populations that do move through the country. So Zimbabwe is known to host about 60 to 65,000 elephants. Tanzania is known to host around 40,000 elephants. India has about 27,000 Asian elephants. Again, these numbers are rough estimates. It's hard to get an exact estimate on the number of elephants, and also they're moving constantly, so populations might move from one country to the next. And South Africa is known to have about 15 to 17,000 elephants. So yeah, the figures highlighted it is critically important for the ongoing conservation of these elephants. So a lot of these endangered species will have yearly counts that are done in order to monitor the population. But our penguin is not being very cooperative again today, is he? We are here in Cape Town, Stony Point, praying to see a glimpse of a little baby penguin maybe, but it looks like this adult is napping. Parenthood is obviously quite hard in the penguin world as well. The male and female penguin will take turns sitting on the nest, so while one is nesting and protecting the eggs and the chicks, the other parent will be out feeding, looking for food. So penguins are monogamous, so many penguin species will be monogamous for at least one breeding season, just like the emperor penguins or the gentoos, after returning to the same mate and nesting site each year. So as long as the nesting site is a safe place and suitable for their nesting, they'll return to the same nesting spot. So penguins usually nest in colonies that can range from a few pairs to a few thousand pairs. This helps to provide protection from predators and warmth. Come on, little penguin, show us your chicks. So often these species, the African penguin, they will lay 2 eggs, although one chick might survive. The incubation period for these penguins is about 30 to 65 days. It's quite cool. Can't see too clearly, but there's these little pink patches on the tops of the penguin's face, just near their eyes there, that help to thermoregulate a penguin's temperature. And of course they're very well designed to insulate their body heat, and their feathers are waterproof, allowing them to be very efficient swimmers. So very skilled in hunting for fish. Sandy Franklin 69, thank you for joining us today. If you have just missed out the beginning of the show, we started off with Tammy the cheetah at Hoedspruit Endangered Species Center, and we watched her little cubs suckling away. We've done a bit of birding over at Tau, and now we are here at Stony Point in Cape Town, trying to see if we can get a glimpse of our penguins' chicks. I know some of the viewers have already seen them. These eggs hatched a couple of days ago, and I'm yet to see the little baby chicks. So we're trying to see if this parent penguin would be cooperative and let us see the little baby penguins. Come on, little guy. So there's a perfect little spot for penguins to nest though, so it's a bit protected from the wind. Perfect elevated spot away from the water so it won't be flooded. But yet there's still quite easy access for these penguins to get down to the water in order to feed. So these shapes, if we were talking about yesterday the penguin's eggs and how the egg shell is very hard in order to be resistant against that cold weather in Cape Town. But penguins' eggs are also shaped almost like in the shape of a pear. This design does help prevent the eggs from rolling off the rocky surfaces or ledges. It also makes the egg spin in a tight circle, so if the egg does get slightly pushed away from the nest, it doesn't roll away easily. So once these little chicks hatch, the parents can recognize their chicks by a very unique call or vocalization. It's very important when they're in a big creche. Alrighty, we've got a little bit of movement here, so crazy how you would never think there's a little penguin nestled into the side of these rocks here. Gonna have a look to see if we've got any hyraxes or rock duskies. Oh, there we go. Just on the left hand side of the screen we've got some little hyraxes that look way too comfortable, I must say. can see there's obviously not very many predators around here, because we've got one hyrax that's just lying on the grass here. He looks very comfortable, almost like he's lying on a nice comfortable carpet of green. These hyraxes live in colonies. Colonies can be anything from 2 to 3 individuals all the way up to 50, 60 individuals that live in the cracks and crevices in the rocks. They seem to really love the spot here in Cape Town. They will have a litter of pups. So baby rock dussies or hyraxes are known as pups. Anything between 3 to 6 individuals. And these hyraxes actually have 3 sets of mammae. So that's 6 individual mammary glands or nipples or teats, and that's where the little ones suck, and that's so that they can feed their young as quickly as possible. It's quite strange to see a hyrax on the ground. Normally they're very much up in the rocks, but they must be very comfortable here, not too many predators around. He's giving himself a nice little scratch with his very uniquely shaped toes, perfect for climbing on the rocks. Oh.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart. At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Haina nchumo, haina maka, emava kwenye ya milu, haina maka. Lifasila mina ritapela, zatsemba, utatsamana mina.
Out here, every moment counts. As a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing. Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7 and rewind if you want to catch something again. Enjoy behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and early access to travel offers. It's the best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
Into the environment. For example, their thick coat, so they got that thick coat to insulate their body heat, to keep them warm in the cold weather. They've got these very knobbly little toes that look very similar to elephant's toes, actually one of the elephant's closest relatives, and that's also an adaptation to be able to cling onto the rocks and move on the rocks with ease. As I mentioned, those modified eyebrows, very sharp incisors, and also their ears as well, very adapted to their specific habitat. I've got a question from Mrs. Jason Voorheesy, just about, what did she ask? Do brown hyena eat hyrax? So Mrs. Jason, yes, if brown hyena get a chance and find a hyrax that's an easy meal, they'll definitely eat a hyrax. So most predators will eat a hyrax. I know during COVID at Stony Point there were a few hyraxes that were taken by a caracal. So if a caracal comes across, caracal, leopard, if they come across a hyrax, will definitely take a chance at a nice easy meal. But it's quite difficult to get at these hyraxes, especially when they nestle themselves into the very thick rock crevices. So they're very alert and aware of what's happening around them, even though this guy doesn't seem to be at this moment. And yeah, they'll very quickly run and hide in the rocks to where it is impossible to reach them. This hyrax is being very confident, I must say. You don't often see them down on the ground for such long periods of time. Oh, he's having such a lovely Friday. I feel like this little rock dusty has begun his weekend early. He's like, I'm done with the week. I'm gonna just lie here and, yeah, chill his way into the weekend. As far as I understand, there are 4 different species of hyrax in Africa. You have the rock hyrax, you have the bush hyrax, and then you have 2 tree hyrax species also up in West Africa. So there are 4 different hyrax species in Africa. These little hyraxes can weigh anything between about 2 to 5 kilograms. So yeah, you can see why it is such a prized meal for many. Especially black eagle, the black eagle love to feed on these little hyraxes. And the hyrax's teeth that I was talking about earlier, the upper teeth, are actually almost tusk-like. So it does have a distant echo of the elephant relative. So it's kind of the reminiscences of the characteristics or the adaptations that's similar to that of elephants. We're talking about communication, a lot about communication today. I was playing a lot of bird calls. So the communication that these hyraxes use to speak to each other is a variety of grunts, squeals, and territorial calls. The calls of the tree hyraxes in West Africa are quite a petrifying sound. It sounds like a baby screaming or echoing scream of a baby through the forest. It's, yeah, I know even grown men that have gotten a bit of a shrill or been a bit petrified when hearing the sound of a West African tree hyrax bellowing this very disturbing call through the forest. So Wildlife Lady is sending through her comments about a hyrax being very cute and cuddly little creatures. Yes, I agree with you there, Wildlife Lady. Definitely a very cute sound from these little cute hyraxes. Very fluffy. It's kind of like the baby cheetah. Definitely has not been doing too much. What is this hyrax up to? He's just lying there. So this tree hyrax is almost so still it looks like it is frozen. Apparently you also get hyraxes in Ethiopia as well. Come on, little guy. You're very brave. If there was a fish eagle around, I wouldn't be surprised if an African fish eagle would take a chance to kill a little hyrax like this.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Rennis is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart. South Africa's wild places are closer than you think, because Federal Airlines brings them to you. From the calm of our FedAir lounge to the smooth boarding of our trusted fleet, we take care of the journey so you can enjoy the adventure. Our flights go beyond the ordinary, connecting you to South Africa's most remote and extraordinary locations. Federal Airlines, your gateway to the South African wild.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a serviceman, eh?
Got no idea what's going on in this reserve.
Expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do?
So we have another giant of Mabula.
That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
Can you hear that? The wild is calling.
How unusual, look at him. He's almost doing like a bear walk. Must have had an itchy belly. See how they'll huddle together, these hyraxes. So a hyrax cuddle puddle or huddle puddle in order to warm each other's body temperatures up. I'm just having a look at their scent glands. So these hyraxes do have a dorsal scent gland, so scent gland on their back, and this is what they use to mark their territory, because it's quite strange to see that little hyrax scratching his belly like that on the ground. Some animals do have scent glands on their faces, like pre-orbital scent glands, but these hyraxes' scent glands are mostly on their backs, and that's what they'll use to mark their territory. Alright, well, our little hyrax friend has left us, so why don't we head back to Tower Lodge and see if we can get some more birds off of our list today. Wow, looks like we've got a dazzle of zebra. A razzle dazzle of zebra. So they're enjoying the sunshine. Obviously lots of flies out and about. Lots of tail swishing going on. Oh, what have we got? Oh, looks like we've also got some kudu in the background. So we've got some impala off to the right. One is just behind this herd of zebra. And we've also got some kudu in the distance in the background. Looks like they are browsing. So kudu are browsers. So they'll feed on the brush and kind of higher vegetation as opposed to our grazers like zebra. We did have some waterbuck here yesterday that were seeking refuge in the grass, blending in very well. And of course, normally we have our wildebeest, a few wildebeest, territorial wildebeest males that are roaming around this pan as well. Speaking of cheetah, I know there are some residential cheetah in this area at Tower Game Lodge. I haven't seen them yet, but I have seen videos of them coming down to the watering hole. And of course, here in Madikwe, they do have lions as well that roam around, sometimes seen at the watering hole at night. There's our water buck. What else do we have out there today? Always a good spot to look on these trees here for any birds, any vegetation. Oh, vine snake. This could be a perfect tree for a vine snake. Shame this poor acacia tree has been quite demolished by elephants recently. So this used to be a nice thick bush on the water's edge, and as you can see, lots of mud has been displaced on this tree by elephants. So elephants have impacted this tree quite a bit and yeah, turned it into a very small little bush. Got a comment coming through from Trixie Rose. So Trixie Rose is saying that she once saw a Narina trogon. That is a very cool sighting, Trixie. Unfortunately, this trogon was lying dead on the shore in Mtloti Lagoon in KZN. Yeah, sorry about your Narina trogon, Trixie. I think you can probably still tick it off your list though, but it's quite rare to see those trogons. Normally they inhabit very thick forested areas, and they, just like all beautiful birds, are very shy and very protective of their bright colors. So trogons are normally their position they have in a tree, they'll always hide their beautiful front from you. So they've got those beautiful colors in the front of their chest there, but they'll normally always sit with their back facing you, which is a very dark green color, and they blend in very well to the top of the canopy. So trogons are quite a difficult one to see. So Trixie, I saw a very special trogon in West Africa, the bare-faced trogon. Spent about must have been 45 minutes to 1 hour looking for that bare-faced trogon. So very beautiful birds. Oh, looks like we've got 2 male impala locked in a bit of a duel. Oh, check out those very sharp horns of theirs. Got to be careful of their eyes, that they don't get their eyes poked out. It's just 2 males dueling with one another. It can be a dominance display. So the males do fight to establish dominance within an area, and this does help individual males to gain control over territories or over harems. So I know the rutting season is coming up. Oh shucks, it's actually May. We're already in May. Can you believe it? Is the 2nd of May today, and yeah, so May is when the rutting season normally starts. All these male have very elevated levels of testosterone. Oh, check some ground squirrels. Oh, have a look here. You see the 2 little ground squirrels. One of my first times I've seen ground squirrels here in South Africa. I'm used to seeing these ground squirrels in Namibia and Botswana. So yeah, how cool. So these ground squirrels do inhabit open grasslands, desert areas. Quite cool little guys. Stout bodies, very short legs, and long bushy tails. Have a look. Can you all see the little ground squirrels as the 2 male impalas joust and fight with one another? What are they feeding on? Let's have a look. They do feed, these ground squirrels do feed on seeds. They're probably in this open area looking for some seeds. They'll also feed on grasses, roots, fruits, and even insects from time to time. And as with most squirrels, they do like to store food in those cheek pouches of theirs, as well as burrowing. So they'll dig a little hole and bury their food in order to save it for later. How cool! A new species to add to my list for live at the waterhole. Ground squirrels. So they will be predated on by bigger raptors like eagles, hawks, snakes, jackals, and other larger predators. So these little ground squirrels have a lot of predators out there. They need to be very careful. So these 2 male impala will have little short fights. So they can become quite intense and can cause injury to each other. So injuries are rare, but they can result in one of the males often breaking their horns, which can end in quite fatal wounds or injuries. Trixie Rose, yes, I agree. These squirrels do, the rams do have an audience. The squirrels are watching to see these two male impalas fighting their day away. So it looks like a bachelor herd. So May is when the testosterone of these impala are very high, and you'll have a lot of rutting going on. Impalas do make a very guttural, strange sound during this time of year with the elevated testosterone levels as they compete and fight for the females. So Mrs. Jason, thank you for your comment. Apparently you have a lot of ground squirrels everywhere on your farm. I wonder where your farm is, Mrs. Jason. Is it kind of in southern Africa, like north of South Africa? Because obviously Madikwe is quite close to the Botswana border, and I wouldn't be surprised in the Northern Cape. You've got that desert region that also goes down into the Northern Cape. So if you lived in the Northern Cape, you'd have a lot of ground squirrels. Or if you lived also close to Kruger and into Botswana, you'd also have... Oh, what have we got here? Oh, looks like we've got a little heron. Is this a striated heron? My gosh, what on earth is this little bird? Looks like it could be a striated heron, folks. Another really cool bird to add to our list for the day. Thank you so much to... No, not striated heron. What heron is this? Squawker heron, sorry. Looks like we've got a squawko heron. It's been a while since I've seen a squawker heron, so thank you very much to our Zoomy for paying attention and finding the squawker heron for me. I'll play a call of the squawker heron. It's not a very attractive call, folks. Sorry about that. But yeah, lovely to see a squawker heron. It's been quite some time. Often these squawker herons can get mistaken for egrets. You can see he's very, very busy hunting away. So he looks like it could be a breeding adult. So the breeding adults do have a very rich, buffy neck. And non-breeding and immature individuals have a streaky neck. So actually, yeah, he's got a bit of a streaky neck there. So he could be a non-breeding individual or a juvenile. So when he becomes sexually mature and is ready for breeding, that stripy neck of his will turn to a very rich buffy color. So they do tend to hunt in a bit of a sluggish manner, haunched over at the water's edge, using their very cunning eyesight in order to capture their prey. So they'll feed on little aquatic life as well as little insects in the vegetation and reeds close to the water. They also like to hang out in very marshy areas, so lakes, ponds, and any fresh water that has some nice thick green reeds and vegetation close by. What a cool sighting of a squawko heron. So when they're in that full breeding plumage and they have their white, very prominently white wings, it's not a surprise that they can be easily mistaken for a little egret. Looks like he's grooming himself. Very bright yellow eyes and a bright yellow bill. So these squawko herons can be found not just in Africa, so they're common in Africa throughout the year, but they can also be found in Europe, southern Europe, as well as Western and Central Asia. So if you were a photographer sitting at this pan or watering hole right now, it would be lovely to get a bit of a double layered image with the squawker heron and the African jacana just behind. So African jacanas I find are quite difficult birds to get photos of. They you need to be down low, you need to get eye level, and you need to get quite close, otherwise they look like just a little brown and white blob. The breeding season for these little squawker herons is generally early summer in Europe or late spring. They do nest in colonies, often with other herons in trees or reed beds. They will build a bit of a platform nest with twigs and reeds, and these squawker herons will lay anything between about 3 to 5 very pale blue or green eggs. So both parents do help to incubate the nest, just like with the African penguins. So the male and female will help to sit and incubate the eggs, as well as helping co-parenting and helping to raise their young chicks. So apparently the name squawker comes from a local form of Italian word which mimics its call. So it can mimic the call of another heron. Hello, little jacana. Check out those big feet of yours. Very patient hunters, these squawker herons. They can sit in one spot for a very long period of time while waiting to ambush their prey. Ooh, looks like we have an elephant. Hello, Mr. Elephant. Lovely to see an elephant down at the watering hole today. So because it is green season and there's a lot of water available for all the animals out there, it's quite, don't always see so many elephants. So lovely to see some elephants. We had, looks like a young bull, and he looks like he's probably in must. Very high levels of testosterone as well, just like the male impala. And yeah, it's quite unusual to see this young elephant bull here. He's a little bit testy, he's a bit on edge. So talking about unusual creatures, I recently saw a female impala that had horns. So yeah, it's very strange to see these female impala with horns. So it's not a naturally occurring phenomenon. It does happen from time to time. You do have some antelope species that both male and females do have horns, but it's quite rare to see a female impala with this very strange deformity. Also, even males, you often find sometimes you'll get a deformity of males that might have 3 horns instead of 2. So these deformities, like in the impala, a cause can be a result of some elevated levels of testosterone or a bit of a hormonal imbalance that might have developed while they were, before they actually, what's happening there? Oh, look folks, we've got some little baby white-faced whistling ducks. Oh my goodness, how cute is that? Just at the water's edge there, little baby white-faced whistling ducks, or white-faced whistling duck chicks. They almost look just like, very similar to Egyptian geese chicks. Oh, cool. They've got that very prominent color of black and yellow. How cool. I'm trying to count how many. Oop, and we have our crocodile. Please don't eat our little white-faced whistling duck chicks, Mr. Crocodile. So a clutch of white-faced whistling ducks can be anything between 8 to 12 individuals per nest. Oh, run away, little chicks. How cool is that, little white-faced whistling duck chicks? So Henry is asking which chicks are the cutest in my opinion. Henry, I'm not too sure, because a lot of chicks can be, if they're born without their feathers and defenseless, they can be quite, not the most attractive, but I do like little ducks. Little ducks are very cute. Oh, actually, little guinea fowl are also very cute. So if anyone else has another opinion, please feel free to send through those comments. What is your favorite chick out there? Mine, I would have to go with white-faced whistling duck chicks are really cute. I have to say the guinea fowl, helmeted guinea fowl chicks are also very cute. I'd love to know, what other little chicks does everyone like? What is the cutest chicks out there? So Spartan has sent through a question. So Spartan, although our grey heron is not flying at this moment, herons are able to fly. Some herons are actually migratory birds, intra-African migrants or paleotic migrants, so they can fly for very long distances, in fact. So might not be seeing our heron flying right now, but they are still able to move and fly. Maybe if we're lucky, folks, our crocodile will come out onto the bank a little bit. So crocodiles are ectothermic, and this crocodile might be needing to do exactly what our hyrax was doing and get out into the sunshine, thermoregulate a little bit, or solar panel himself, absorb some heat from the sunshine and warm up his body. See, that impala looks like he's a bit testy. Where's our little white-faced whistling duck chicks? So these little white-faced whistling duck chicks will normally be fledged at about the ages of 6 to 8 weeks. So they'll grow their flight feathers and begin to fly at about 6 to 8 weeks. It's when they'll be able to fly, and then at about 12 to 14 weeks they might actually separate from their parents. It looks like we also have 4 little white-faced whistling duck chicks. How cool.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. I grew up mostly here in the Lowveld. I grew up here pretty much on the southern side of Kruger National Park, a place called Marloth Park, for most of my years. Something surprising about myself, I did play drums in a band for many years. Best sighting I presented, we found Palumba and the 2 cubs, and the cubs are just way big.
We are here with a male leopard.
his comment about his favorite chicks, which is a wader chick, which are often very cute V lapwing, often V. Sorry, I'm reading this comment completely off. But apparently lapwing and plover chicks are very cute. Yes, I agree with you. They have that V shape. I think that's what you're trying to talk about, is that V shape on their head. So yeah, very cool to see the little lapwings with that V shape on their head. Penelope Kenyon said that her favorite chicks are blacksmith lapwings as well as guinea fowl chicks. I must say I do have a soft spot for little spur fowls. Natal spur fowl chicks are also quite adorable, I must say. But all small creatures are very cute. But guinea fowls, as well as lapwing, guinea fowls and spur fowls do go through a bit of a transient phase, same as like your white storks or yellow-billed storks. That juvenile phase where they are not too attractive. They look very mottledy and dirty, almost in a way. Yeah, unfortunately, they have this adolescent phase they have to get through. It's like the awkward teenage phase, I guess you could refer to it as that. What else do we have out there today? Still got our heron, our grey heron, still sitting on the edge of the bank here. Must have had a very successful morning, found enough food. Looks like his throat pouch there is quite full. Here are some little fish, some little insects. Looks like we also had some waterbuck in the distance. He's giving himself a bit of a preen, a bit of a groom. So lots of birds need to groom their feathers very well in order to keep them in a good condition so they're able to fly. Oh, here's our waterbuck. Nice to see lots of lily pads, perfect habitat for our lily trotters, the African Tucana. So Nina Brown is asking a question about how do brightly birds camouflage themselves. So Nina Brown, birds of paradise, I don't know, birds in the Amazon confuse me quite a lot. I mean, obviously these bright birds some of them will only be bright during the breeding season. The rest of the year they'll be almost unrecognizable, very dull, drab brown color in order to blend in better with the environment. But a lot of bright colored birds in southern Africa that I know of will, as I mentioned with the tarako, tarakos, and with the Narina trogons, they will actually hide their bright colors from you. So they'll be very bashful and shy of those bright colors until they need to startle maybe a predator or to display to a female. That's when they will be flash those bright colors of theirs. So normally they'll be bright in the front, or maybe bright patches underneath their wings, or even on their rump, and then they'll only flash these bright colors when trying to attract a female or when trying to startle a predator. So Deb Davis is saying she would love to see a secretary bird chick. So Deb Davis, I've never seen a secretary bird chick before, but that would be something quite cool to see. I have helped to feed a secretary bird juvenile. I must tell you, it wasn't too pretty, but it was an adolescent individual. Oh, look at these little chicks. Check at them go, check at them run. The female is probably a bit hungry. Maybe going to the bank to feed. So it looks like the secretary bird chicks are born altricial, so they're completely bald. They have very few feathers. They're born without the ability to see or hear, and they are very slowly raised and fed by the parents. So they are completely helpless in the nest. So you have altricial chicks or young that are born without the ability to protect themselves. They're not able to walk. In most cases, they're blind, just like our cheetah. and they need to be looked after by the parent. And then you get precocial, which a lot of our species like your guinea fowl, francolin, ground nesting birds, within minutes they're hatched and they're already able to move, walk, run. Same as with a lot of our antelope species, they need to be able to move quickly, otherwise they would be eaten by predators. So I'm having a look at some pictures of secretary bird chicks, and they're not very pretty, I must say. Definitely worth waiting for the secretary bird to sexually mature and become an adult, so they have those beautiful bright colors. What else is out there today? Seems to be a bit of a quiet Friday afternoon. Just trying to see. Oh, there we go. I think that's our heron. That's our grey heron flying. I had a question earlier about grey heron. So yes, you can see from Spartan. I hope you saw our grey heron flying there. Spartan asked earlier if herons are able to fly. You can still see our common moorhen hanging out there. I can imagine today, if you were sitting in a hide, it would be a bit of a chilly day. Definitely would want to get some nice warm socks on. Even a hide would be a little bit cold. And yeah, have a good cup of tea or coffee next to you, some nice rusks. Maybe even pop some amarula into that coffee. Keep nice and warm. Oh, what's happening here? Yeah, we've got two common moorhens. Have a look. Are they displaying? Oh, this is rather unusual. Could be displaying to one another. See how he's flaring up his tail, almost like making a bit of like a flag with his tail there. So again, a lot of these birds use a bit of a territorial display or mating display.
He is such a handsome young male. Look at that pose. Absolutely beautiful.
Wild Earth has launched a special fundraising drive for our non-profit, the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. We're raising funds to source, create, and showcase thousands of untold stories. Stories that spark real action in conservation and social impact. Visit our website to donate and explore how you can become a founding donor.
Look at that neck. Look at it. What is he up to? Could be trying to make another kill. Alex is asking a question about baby secretary birds. So yes, Alex, baby secretary birds do still look like they have quite long legs, although their legs do get longer as they grow bigger, so they're very small, but still have quite long legs. Oh, maybe he's going to make another kill. Oop, that definitely looks like he caught a fish. Not quite fish and chips for lunch, but this yellow-billed egret is going to have a great afternoon fish. They call it sashimi, nice raw fish for lunch. And saw quickly this grey heron swooped in, trying to steal the egret's kill. It is quite a tough world out there. It's eat or be eaten. Often you'll get bird species that do try to steal food from other species. They become almost parasitic and stealing food from one another. How cool. If we're lucky, we can see some of the vultures that are here at Safari Lodge. This egret's got very cool, it's a heron, grey heron has got very cool colorations on their neck. So I know grey heron can often be confused with a black-headed heron. The black-headed heron has a lot more black on the neck and the top of his head compared to the grey heron. Oh, what have we got here? Is this a hardy-dar ibis or a sacred ibis? No, we do get sacred ibis in this area. We do also get hardy-dar ibis. What is going on here with this ibis? Is he sleeping? Sure, we're all very aware of the sound that the sacred hardy-dar and sacred ibis make. I'll play the call of the sacred ibis. It looks like this ibis is having a nap. So I'm going to go with sacred ibis. Could be a sacred ibis, just napping on the water's edge here. So we'll keep a lookout at Victoria Falls. This watering hole is very good for birding. Of course, lots of vultures that come down for the vulture feed that normally takes place at about lunchtime. If you're lucky, there's sometimes a few escapee crocodiles that live in this little watering hole that might have escaped from the nearby crocodile farm. And the buffalo herds come down in the afternoons to drink at this pan. Often a lot of elephants throughout the day coming to drink, but probably be more prominent in a few months when all the other water sources have dried out. Let's see what else we've got. I've seen vultures anting here. It's also pretty cool to see vultures anting. So they would lie down on the ground with their feathers on the ground, and they let the ants crawl onto their feathers. Oh, what have we got here? Is that a yellow-billed stork? Yeah, it looks like a very characteristic behavior of yellow-billed stork. What a cool bird. We've had a really good day today with our birds and birding. So see what the stork is doing. He'll cast one of his wings out, and that's to cast a bit of a shadow over the water to help him see what's under the water easier. But it can also be used for balance as well. So they'll use those wings of theirs for balance. What has he caught, this yellow-billed stork? So probably fish. They'll be looking for fish. As with most storks, they will also feed on frogs. If they get some small tadpoles or frogs, they'll love to feed on those frogs. We've got two, looks like emerald spotted doves. So these yellow-billed storks will also feed on freshwater crabs, crustaceans, shrimps, insects, beetles, grasshoppers, and aquatic invertebrates. So if they get a chance, they'll also feed on very small lizards and snakes that might be near the water. So the hunting method is they normally walk very slowly through the shallow water with their bills open and semi-submerged. And when they feel their prey, that's when they snap their bills closed instantly, and that helps to catch their prey. So got another comment. I asked our viewers about what chicks do they think are the cutest of all little chicks, and Catherine sent through her comment about little grebe. So yes, Catherine, I agree with you. Grebe chicks, so little grebe chicks are very cute. I think at Mabula in February, BK and I were able to get very close up and personal with a nest of some little grebes. How cool. Very, very cute little chicks, I do agree. Great birding today. It's been a really good birding day. Having a look to see if anything else is out there. Kudu do frequent this watering hole quite often, so I have spent a lot of time at this watering hole in Victoria Falls. Oh, looks like we've got some vultures up in the baobab tree there. So it's almost 2 o'clock, so quite a few hours. Vulture feed was at 1 o'clock, so obviously most of the vultures have all taken off. We've got two probably white-backed vultures, so it's the most prominent species that do come down to this vulture feeding restaurant. If we're lucky, some marabou storks, Cape vultures or Cape griffins, they're currently known as, if you're lucky. They're just hanging out, these two vultures. I do love the white-headed vultures as well. Maybe these two vultures came late to the party. So Fuzzy Dunlop, yes, it surely is a happy feathered Friday. We've had some pretty good birding today, I must admit. Lots of really good water birds as well. Mindy, thank you for your comment. Apparently the first time Mindy saw crows anting was in her backyard, and she had no idea what they were doing. So yes, Mindy, birds practice this behavior, so there's quite a fascinating behavior known as anting. So it is still quite a mysterious behavior observed in many birds, and what the birds will do is either they'll let ants roam around on their feathers, or they'll actually rub live ants and crush them on their feathers and skin. And this activity is done in order to release that formic acid, which can act as a bit of a defense mechanism. The acid does also help to kill or repel any parasites. So it's almost like spraying an insect spray on yourself. So when we go into the bush, try to remove any insects or prevent insects from biting or stinging us. It's the same behavior in birds, trying to remove parasites with that formic acid from the ants. So yeah, pretty crazy this behavior. So some birds that practice anting, there's over 200 species that have been observed globally that practice anting, and these species, some of them are thrushes, robins, jays, sparrows, hornbills, and of course I've also seen vultures anting before. I wouldn't be surprised with crows too. So Deb Davis, the vulture feed normally takes place at 1 o'clock every day here at Safari Lodge. It's not just a good tourist attraction, but it is also very good that the vultures have somewhere safe to feed every day. Safe vulture feeding sites are not so common. Some of the places that food is put out for vultures, it might not be safe for them. So it is very good to have a safe place for these endangered birds to come down and feed as well. Looks like our grey heron just had a good yawn. So apparently this anting behavior of the formic acid also helps to clean and soften the bird's feathers, and can also help the bird while in their molting phase. So amazing how that formic acid in ants can be so useful to birds. So everything in the ecosystem is always linked to something else. Everything is important and everything is significant. From your large mammals, your big five, to birds, to butterflies, all the way to the tiny, small, little ants even. I know most people might think ants are a bit of a nuisance, but everything has its place in the ecosystem and the food chain in this world. So
It's been a great morning out and about and exploring.
It's amazing. It's very hard to explain what this feels like.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. The best driver at Wild Earth, it is me. I believe I'm the best driver. I think so, because I've... best part of my job, I say, is just to try and look out for these animals, track them down. I love tracking animals. I love looking for, fresh tracks, and if you can find them, it's just at the moment of accomplishment. If I wasn't a presenter for Wild Earth, I would be the drummer for AC/DC.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions.
Animals rely on their senses.
Share your thoughts and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live.
While as South Africa, Zimbabwe was experiencing some late rains. I wonder if we're going to have some late rains today in Victoria Falls. While I was in Bulawayo a few days ago, we did have a little bit of rainfall. I know in Wangi National Park they also experienced some late rains this year as well, which is quite unusual and can be a sign of a very cold winter ahead. So dark mane lover, I'm not too sure what food they feed these vultures. I have seen chickens. I've seen them feeding them chickens from time to time, but I'm not actually 100% sure what food they might feed them. Maybe if they have some meat at the restaurant. I know obviously the Safari Lodge has that Boma restaurant, so if they have some meat that's not quite edible for people but safe for vultures, they might also put that meat out for the vultures too. So obviously the Boma restaurant is a very good entertaining meal that you can have in Victoria Falls. It's linked with Safari Lodge, and they do often serve game meat like warthog, kudu, eland. So maybe if they have some cuts that are not quite suitable for human consumption, they're very safe for the vultures. Vultures also have a very strong digestive system, so they're able to digest a lot of otherwise toxic food that might kill other predators or us humans. Vultures can very easily discard of that meat. So dark mane lover, again about the food that these vultures are feeding. Now vultures will mostly feed on, they scavenger birds, and they are carnivorous birds, so they'll mostly feed on carrion and as much meat as they can. So I know they do have a lot of bones that look like it's always out there in the front of the restaurant. So yeah, they will feed on anything and everything, these vultures, but the vultures will also feed in other areas. So if there's any other kills in other areas nearby, that's when they'll also go and feed from those carcasses and substitute their diet with the proteins, calcium, and any other minerals that they might be needing. So yeah, they'll have quite a varied diet. I don't think they get fed the exact same thing every day. And again, food that might be inedible to us humans, vultures will still be very happy to consume that food. Whoop, what's happening here? Any vultures? Any kudu lying around? It's perfect Mopani scrub area for some nice kudu to be moving through these nice open areas here. The winter is surely going to be a cold one in a lot of areas in southern Africa this year. Lots of underground water from the late rains. It's going to make it a very chilly winter on safari. So if we have any viewers that are coming on safari to Africa during June, July, maybe even until early August, definitely bring a nice warm jumper or a fleece with you. It is going to be a cold winter. I know lots of people don't think it can get cold in Africa, but Wangi National Park is one of the coldest temperatures recorded, minus 14 degrees in the Det Flay. So we can still get some cold temperatures in Zimbabwe. Come on, Mr. Heron. Are you going to catch a meal? He looks pretty happy. I don't know if he's about to move or maybe he wants to use the bathroom. Very beautiful with that black eye stripe across his face there. And again, these herons will also sometimes nest in colonies with other egrets and herons. They're not the most dainty with their nests. A lot of herons and egrets will make very scruffy nests just out of sticks. It'll be like a platform nest at the top of some trees, and it's they don't go into as fine detail as like weavers. Weavers are very good at making very well woven nests. I must say my favorite African bird nest must be the Malimbi nest in West Africa. A very beautiful long tunnel, so it looks like a woven nest, just like almost a bit more similar to, what is it, red-headed weaver, but a very long tunnel to enter the nest. So very beautiful, made from the leaves of the raffia palms. Definitely looks like the weather has taken a bit of a turn here in Vic Falls. Vic Falls is one of those locations where the weather can change quite quickly. It can be hot and humid in the morning, and if an hour later the wind picks up and it can be raining. Alrighty folks, well, we don't have much activity here in Victoria Falls, so for the last few minutes of the show, why don't we head back to Tammy, our cheetah, with her 4 cubs over in Hoedspruit, South Africa. Oh, so we've got a bit of a different angle here of our beautiful female cheetah Tammy with her 4 little cubs. Isn't this a lovely sighting to be able to see? I'm really looking forward to seeing how these cheetah cubs grow and progress over the next week or so. So I've also going to be with you next week here live at the waterhole, so we'll definitely check in with our very gorgeous female cheetah Tammy and her adorable little cubs and see how they are coming along. In a natural environment, this female cheetah, she'll spend as much time as she can with her little cubs in their first few days, but eventually she would need to go out and feed So she would then stash her little ones in a thick bush, hoping that they stay in one spot while she goes out to hunt and feed, so that she can keep herself in a good condition. Eventually, when a female cheetah gets older, it becomes a bit more difficult for her to keep her body condition up. But yeah, very important that she keeps herself healthy and strong so that she can feed these little precious lives that she has, these little cubs of hers. So it's quite interesting about cheetah, some fun facts about cheetah. So unlike lions, cheetah actually purr. So they don't roar, they purr and chirp, as well as a hissing and a growling sound. Been playing some cheetah call sounds for you the last couple of days, the baby cheetah calls, but let's see if I can find a call for an adult cheetah. It's a high-pitched sound, and sometimes these calls of cheetah sound almost like a bird. So I'm going to play the call of an adult cheetah calling. Very strange call, isn't it? Very unusual sound of a cheetah, female cheetah, probably calling her offspring or her young. Sounds like it could be a bird of some sort. Isn't she majestic? Look at those ears moving as she listens to what's happening around her. She's got a bit of tail swish every now and then just to chase off those flies. We're all very delighted that all of the cubs have been reunited, because yesterday, for quite some time, the two cubs were separated on her own. So I'm going to play another variation of a cheetah vocalization for you. So this is a cheetah that I saw last year in Zimbabwe. So it was a young male that had recently been separated from his mother. And I think this was a bit of a beckoning call. He was trying to locate his mother. He looked quite distraught. He didn't want to be on his own, but his mom was kicking him out the nest and leaving him to survive on his own. He was old enough to be on his own, but he was just being a little bit needy. So this is a call of a young male cheetah calling his mother.
I get to wake up every morning and go out there and look for cats. I get to create my everyday safari for myself. I grew up in the sort of central eastern suburbs of Johannesburg, fully qualified trails guide and a fully qualified nature conservationist. I love the wild places. I love being in the wilderness. It's probably one of the best jobs I've ever had and probably ever could have.
Safari Wine and waterfalls, the ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines, experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife, and stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
So Penelope Kenyon, thank you for your comment about the 3 cheetah cubs that you saw at Zwalu a few years ago that were playing around a thorny bush. Just imagining that sighting, that would be a very special sighting. Oh, look at this little precious. Have a look under his feet. You can see the tiny little pads of the little baby cheetah, and they're almost white under their feet. So have a look at this dark coloration they have. So just like with hyena, baby hyena is almost completely black to blend in well with their burrow, so they're not seen from outside. So same as these little cheetah cubs, very dark colors just come through in their coat the last day or so since we saw them, and that helps to blend them in very well to the grass. Oh, how adorable is this, folks? Very special to be able to watch this little cheetah family grow. Leopard lover, yes, I can't believe this is very cute, very adorable, these tiny little babies. Just so special that we can be able to watch this week. It's a very big surprise to me. Earlier in the week, I think it was Wednesday, it's probably Wednesday, when we were told about this cheetah and her cubs being born. She's kept us good company this week. Definitely added quite a lot of variety to our Live at the Waterhole sessions. So very, very grateful that we could be a part of this new generation of cheetah joining the world. Looks like we've got some movement. They've decided they're ready for a bit of a drink, a bit of a suckle there. Check out these little guys. So you can see the female's teeth there that have been suckled on. These little ones are thirsty, ready for some more food. Ready for some more milk from their mother. Ooh. So yeah, it's so important also with these endangered species. Why their populations get affected is because of the genetic diversity. So when you start to have a decrease of a specific species, then inbreeding does become quite a problem. So modern cheetah descended from a bit of a black-necked population of cheetah, which was about 10,000 years ago, and they genetically were quite similar to our cheetah that we know nowadays. Obviously each different species does evolve over many years. In Africa there are known to be less than about 7,000 cheetah that remain in the wild, and this genetic diversity is so important in order to keep these species alive. So in the wild, a lot of the populations that you have are very fragmented populations because of habitat loss, and inbreeding does become a big problem. So if any of these tiny little baby cheetah can be released into the wild, they can definitely help to diverse the genetic populations in the wild. Look at those eyes. Isn't she beautiful, folks? What a majestic creature she is. So Tammy's about 9 years old, and the male of these little baby cheetah is a plain male. So it's quite interesting that all of these cheetah were born with spots, which is probably better for them in the wild. They'll blend in better, and it'll be a lot easier for them to be naturally blend into the environment while hunting. seems to be gazing at something. Something's definitely happening. And just like with zebra, just like with us humans and our fingerprints, each and every single cheetah is very special, very unique in their spot patterns. So you'll use a special kind of spot pattern that you might see. So on this female, on Tammy, on her right hand shoulder, she's got a very prominent arrow marking that you can see. So yeah, you'll use these markings to help to identify specific individuals. What is she staring at? Hey girl, what do you see? Imagine if you were sitting, if you're a photographer and this was in the wild, you'd get some really incredible pictures with these tiny little babies suckling from this female. Cheetah are mostly diurnal hunting species, although they can hunt at night, especially early mornings, late afternoons, so that would probably be the time. So it's been a lovely day here live with you all at the Waterhole, folks. Jive Bunny, just want to say a big thank you for your comments, and Jive Bunny is sending through a big thanks to the Wild Earth team and FC, to all our Zoomies. Also thank you for helping us with our show, helping us to get good views. We've also got Peter Thompson. Thank you for watching today. It has been a lovely show live at the Waterhole. Just want to say thanks from me and the rest of the Wild Earth crew. I will see you next week, and have a fabulous weekend, folks.